Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a dynamic effort bench press day. But a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below, be greatly appreciated. So I decided to do a couple things different with speed work. I decided to go up to closer to west side percentages. I think I'm going to try it for just a little bit. And I decided to also mess with wide, medium, and close today, and here's what I found. Just like I suspected, even though that floor press was decent, it was still 15 pounds lighter than my best close grip floor press. And these felt really, really slow. When I went with the wide grip, pushing as fast as I can. I mean, now granted, it's a lot more weight on the bar than I normally do for speed work, but it just felt really slow. And as I went in closer, it got better. And so, I was going to do 3-3 in theory, but I just got 2 sets into the medium and realized it was already doing better. Just needed to go close grip. So again, I just wanted to get a feel for it, and I'm still getting a good training response from it. But again, it just kind of highlights to me that going into this meet, we need to just stick with close grip benching and just keep working the triceps, keep working the delts. All right, that's going to be the way forward. Now, the thing is, though, I think if I do all this speed work a little bit heavier and just focus on trying to get faster with these percentages, I do feel like I'm getting a better training response. All right, I feel like I'm getting a better training response in the muscles, possibly stimulating some actual hypertrophy instead of just a speed end. And as long as I have my fatigue management on point, it'll be fine. I do like, particularly for some of my non-power lifters, other athletes, I really like running the light speed work. It works so well for them. But I am questioning at this point, as long as fatigue management's good and we're not doing a bunch of sets to failure, we're, watching our volumes close. On our other lifts, on our accessory work, I don't see why we can't just run the heavier. Because again, I programmed it both ways. I've gotten guys really, really strong using both methods. But, and I noticed a better recovery on the other. But, if we're not trying to push the absolute bleeding edge all the time on volume, it may not matter. It may not matter that much. I decided to do that. And again, I did feel a larger training response. So afterwards, I decided to go with just keeping things simple and just work triceps and delts and upper back. So just went with my JM presses. Just kept the 135 on there, did 5 sets of 10. The first set was easy, but they got fatiguing really quick, even with the 135. And I think that displays for me the fact that this speed work was more taxing, right? With the heavier weight, it was definitely more taxing. So I noticed that my triceps were more fatigued going in, which is perfectly fine. We're good with that. So we got all these on the JM presses, and a lot of this stuff, we get people don't like the way I perform in exercise, and there's a point where I just don't care. I just don't care. There's a point where you have to look at all of it and say, nobody cares, guys. If I'm stronger than you, my lifters are stronger than you. There are people stronger than all of us who perform these this way. Whatever the exercise happens to be, why are we worried about it? Again, nonsense. And that's something that I notice. I mean, and I have my own ideas about form on certain lifts. Rowing and stuff and lat pull downs. I think squeezing at the top actually hurts your gains. It's just my opinion. Although the truth is it probably doesn't matter. But by that same token, it doesn't help. But you get so many influencers out there. I see this nonstop, like coming through reels on my social media because I don't actually watch any YouTube fitness. I just pretend it doesn't exist because I don't want to be dumbed down by it at this point. But I see this stuff through my reels, and it's like the biggest mistake you're making with your back is not squeezing at the top. And it's some guy whose back is half the size of mine, and I'm just like, bro, this sort of nonsense is why you don't have a back. It really is. The stuff that you think matters is the reason you don't have one. And it's just weird to me. These same people will. This is why you're not getting gains here. I'm like, well, where are yours? Why don't you have any gains there? Could it be that you don't know what you're doing? I'm just saying. And maybe it could be genetics, but, maybe they should put some of their clients up instead. But, that aside, notice I don't do any of that. Rowing is just heavy. Try to get a stretch at the bottom, heavy rowing. Even in this case, the chest supported. Now, I'm not really swinging, but I'm sure not worried about a peak contraction. And we shouldn't even be worried about peak contractions on exercises, to be honest. I mean, the literature shows that those positions are the least effective for growth anyway, so why are we worried about spending more time at the points in an exercise with the worst mechanical tension and the worst growth potential? Like why do people want to obsess over spending more time and squeezing in that position? You need to get to that position and get back out of it, if it's causing the least growth, especially if it's costing you a rep or two to do it and waste energy there. You could be spending more time at the points where you're getting the greatest mechanical tension while still doing the full range of motion, or the majority of it. That also came up too. Someone said, why are you doing partials on these? I'm not. That's as far as my body moves. These are full range of motion. All right? My back is big enough. I can't squeeze the way other people think I can. I can't incline bench with a broomstick, for example. I can't touch it. I have to have weight on the bar to actually make it touch my chest, because my lats hit, my scapula pinch together. Like all that muscle up there gets in the way. So this is my full range of motion. It's what I can do. And again, everyone always compliments my back. It should tell you something. Again, people confuse partials because they don't see something to where someone is stretched to what they think is an extreme range of motion. They're seeing it's a partial. That's not what we're talking about with partials. We're talking about half reps. Right? In other words, if your range of motion is 30 inches and you're only doing a 14 or 15 inch range of motion, who cares? Right? Same with this. I don't think we need to bring these all the way up. I think it's necessary. In fact, it's probably healthier for our shoulders if we don't. In my case, any overuse problems I historically have come from what? My arms going above my head, pull-ups, overhead pressing. Notice how much healthier my shoulders stay, and I just get bigger and stronger if I just avoid anything over my head. It just makes my life easier. And then if I ever need to do it, at least the strength is there. Right? I could walk in and do a 100-pound weighted pull-up anytime I want. I think my pressing strength is high enough. My triceps are strong enough. I could press 225 if I had to. I used to do it all the time. I think I'd have an issue with it. As long as the muscle's there, the strength is there. But you're not spending time doing this stuff. So that's what I look at with all this stuff. Shoulder health, longevity. Right? It's going to keep me in the game longer. It's going to keep me putting up bigger and bigger numbers going into my late 40s now. That's to me, that's my concern. That's the name of the game. That's what we care about. And finding those points to where you personally get overused the easiest and avoiding them. In my case, just avoid them. They don't bring anything special to the table. Am I magically going to get bigger and stronger because I do them? No. But we did 5x10 upright rows. And then, of course, we supersetted band press downs with lateral raises. And I just did 3 sets of laterals because that gave me 8 total sets for my whole shoulders. Because that's not counting rows, not counting pressing. That's a lot. Especially if we do something like that twice a week. This is plenty. I mean, we can argue 10. If I just did the 5 sets of upright rows, I'd be good. It's just giving a little bit of priority to the upper back and shoulder. That's all this is doing. Giving it a little bit of extra love. All right. And it was pretty lit up. But my biggest focus is going to be on, of course, triceps. Triceps got the most work today. If we take out any of the real pressing, the DE work, we still got 10 sets for triceps. And we do that twice a week. Now we're getting into really high volumes, getting into super high volumes. So that's what we did. And I tried to do at least 30 reps, and I think the last set I got about 35 because I held off just a little bit and then took that one with some rest pause reps just at the end. But again, just the last set out of my 10. And notice I do something like that on a band exercise for high reps. I'm not doing that on the big movements. It matters in this context. It matters. So if we're going to do something like that, this is where we do it. We do it on an exercise that isn't going to beat tendons or joints up. If anything, this is restorative. Right? It's restorative. But I think we can all agree I've gotten thicker. I've gotten a lot bigger since my last meet. And, got to keep focusing on making weight. That's going to be the hardest part now. Size and the strength are there. Just got to get leaner now so that the higher percentage of my weight is muscle, which makes it easier to cut water. And like I said, if this goes well, this may be the last meet I do in the 198 for a while. I'm thinking my strength has been going up enough, and the water cuts will be so much easier of, considering doing the 220 next year. Maybe the direction I want to go. I do like getting bigger. And I'm just too tall for the 198. Like, I'm going to have to just keep getting so lean that it's going to be uncomfortable. And I may have to do that eventually. I may go back to the 198 later. I just want to knock down a record or two. And then I can go to a different weight class where my strength is best. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.